My next guest is the visionary, Chef Beanz.
Every time I ever thought about giving up or going a more easier route, God will reveal a sign. So when I first came out here, didn't have a job or a place to stay. I had to sleep in my car a little bit. I signed up for Planet Fitness to have a place to shower. And at this point, I was like, yo, you moved all the way out here. Like, you got enough money for a one-way flight back to Jersey. Like, yo, you could just leave right now. So I'm at this crossroad. And now I look up at Planet Fitness. I see a sign that say you belong.
Do you feel like you have always kind of been aligned in a sense of what you were called to do, or that's something that you kind of gained over time?
Once I realized who I was, once I realized what I was put on this earth to do, I'm like, I know who I am. I just gotta remind myself that the world hasn't caught up to me yet. The hardest part sometimes is just deciding and affirming yourself. Like, I am who I say I am.
The most important part is deciding, right? And to do it. I never stop at the idea. Ideas don't make you special, right?
A fairy does. People have ideas all day, every day.
The title of your play is Transparency. So of course, as the guy who created the thing, I gotta ask you, what does transparency mean to you?
Transparency to me is
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Hitting Your Mark, a show where I get to sit down with creative people who I believe are definitely hitting their mark. Now, my next guest today, he is a playwright, a motivational speaker, and he's on a worldwide tour of reminding people to be intentional and to be transparent. My next guest is the visionary, Chef Beanz.
Thanks for having me, Ben.
Yes, sir. Thanks for being on the platform, my guy.
Of course.
Look, in doing my research of you and being on your Instagram platforms and stuff like that, I saw some monologues and stuff that you've done in the past.
Yes.
And one of them, it was you speaking, and in there you said this quote that I really loved. You said, "Every time I look around, I am reminded I am exactly where I'm supposed to be." And I feel like that quote is rich on a couple of different levels that we can touch on. But the first one I would say is alignment, right? I feel like that line is talking about being aligned with your purpose and what you're supposed to be doing in this world.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you have always kind of been aligned in a sense of what you were called to do, or that's something that you kind of gained over time?
That's definitely something that I gained over time. Being from Jersey, now living in LA, a lot of people don't know I have an education background. So
Okay.
media production major, first job I got after I graduated in education. And I felt like I was just working to pay bills and make my parents happy, not necessarily anything that I enjoy doing.
Wow.
So once I leaned into the storyteller that I am, that's when I realized this is what I was meant to do on earth. I was made to inspire people through storytelling.
Yes, sir.
As I continued to water that, that's when things really just started to transpire. So I feel like when it comes to alignment, your intuition tells you what you're supposed to be doing, or at least a direction. It's up to you to listen to that and not hit do not disturb all the time.
Come on now. I love it. And you said that once you found that creative bone in your body, it was kind of like game time, right? Like your whole kind of mindset changed, your life changed.
Yep.
And I felt like it was the same in a sense with me. It wasn't until like my college days when I went to Santa Monica College where I discovered acting and I fell in love with that. It was something that I felt like I was kind of running from my whole life. I always knew that I was gonna be in front of people and like be a creative and stuff like that. But yeah, I think for certain people it could be in the same sense of, that might not pay the bills, that might not take care of you, that might not be the cool thing to do. But when I finally got into it and I was doing it, like I just felt my heart changed, my posture just changed in life. So it's definitely a beautiful thing to have, for those people who are pursuing their passions.
Right.
But another thing I think that is beautiful is that you said that it's where I'm supposed to be, not where I want to be, not where I think I deserve to be, not where, I should be by now, but just where I'm supposed to be. And I feel like a lot of us despise the days of small beginnings, right? Like you first got the thing of, okay, I want to be creative, but it wasn't just like, all of a sudden you going viral, you on different platforms and all that. Like you might put something out and it might not, connect with the people like that and stuff right away. So is that also your mindset in these days of small beginnings, is like, I'm still where I'm supposed to be on the path?
Yeah, and it gets discouraging at times. Even still, even with the things that I've been able to accomplish, it gets discouraging because the things that you feel like, oh, this is the one.
Come on.
They be the ones with 2 views, 5 views, nobody paying attention to. And sometimes it's the ones that you probably slept on, like, oh, they gained a little more traction than I thought it was. So it's about being consistent. And my headspace has always been, once I realized who I was, once I realized what I was put on this earth to do, I'm like, I know who I am. I just got to remind myself that the world hasn't caught up to me yet.
Mm, I
I got
like
to
that.
remind myself that the world hasn't caught up to me. So continue to dig a rabbit hole. Eventually, they'll trip down the rabbit hole and see you've been this person. You've been this. It just, whenever they meet you or are introduced to you, whether it's today, 5 years from now, just leave jelly beans, not only for others to be able to track, but also yourself to remind yourself where you started and where you're going. So I feel like everything that I post from since I really started taking this chef being serious to now, I'm like, you
Mhm.
just leaving jelly beans.
Come
And
on.
when you need some inspiration from the past, just take a couple steps back, just look, and then be grateful for what you have been able to sprout now.
Yes, sir. That's beautiful. And I love what you say. You said that you said that the people just haven't caught up to me
Mm.
yet. Right. And I think that we should just keep that mindset, right? Because I
Yeah,
think that, as you're going, you're thinking, man, nobody's caring, nobody's looking at what I'm doing. But no, take the mindset of no, I'm doing this thing. The world just hasn't caught on
right.
yet. And when they do catch on, they'll be able to see your page and go through and look at all the different stuff and get
Said
motivated.
he's
And
always known who he was.
man,
Wow. He's
we just
been
haven't known.
right. He's always and it's that. So a
Hmm.
lot of my friends and peers who've known me for a long time, the things that they're seeing now, none of them are surprised. Even people who first met me when I first moved out here in 2018, they're like,
Yes, sir.
he's been saying that. Whether he had 2 cents in his pocket,
Come
whether he
on.
had however much, like he's always been saying that. So it's having the stomach to endure and to keep going.
And yeah, you said that there are some days when it can be discouraging, right? Like putting that thing out that you thought was gonna be super dope. And yeah, the comment section is dry. Like
Right.
nobody
Bunch
really
of
likes
bots,
it.
bots saying send me DM me this, send me this
Yeah.
post. You're like,
You
God.
like what? Like where's everybody at?
Right.
In those days, do you feel like, yeah, I should probably just go to UPS. I should probably just go to a restaurant and start busting tables. Are there ever those days when you feel like that too though?
Yeah, there have been moments where that feeling was more intensified. And even if it wasn't something as specific as a UPS or
Yeah.
restaurant, just a more consistent, stable lifestyle. What would that look like? And then it's always, every time I ever thought about giving up or going a more easier route, God will reveal a sign.
Come on now.
Like when I first moved out here, I tell people all the time, like I just thought I'm gonna just take over LA. I'm gonna touch down. LA ain't never seen nobody like me. LA has seen people like me.
Man.
LA has, and a lot of them are on Skid Row.
Wow. You said a lot of them are on Skid
A
Row.
lot of them are on Skid Row. Some
True
of them
that.
are execs. Some of them are whatever. It's like,
Mm,
so you tell me LA has never seen an ambitious person?
that's real.
They have. It's
That's
like
real.
where people go wrong sometimes is distractions or whatever self-sabotaging behavior. So when I first came out here, didn't have a job or a place to stay. I had to sleep in my car a little bit after a couple things fell through. And I
Wow.
remember going to Planet Fitness, and I signed up for Planet Fitness to have a place to shower. And at this point, I was like, yo, you moved all the way out here. Like, you got enough money for a one-way flight back to Jersey. Like, yo, you could just leave right now. So I'm at
Yeah.
this crossroad. And now I look up at Planet Fitness and I see a sign that say you belong. So I'm like, all right. And then I continue to go. Or even I went on
Come
like a
on.
random like hike with friends up in Malibu. And I remember feeling very discouraged at the time. And
Wow.
right when I was thinking about, yo, when we get back around LA, maybe I could just go back to Jersey. I seen a sign on the hike that said, please stay on trail.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's like,
But those little reminders, bro. Like,
what was the quote that you said? I said in the monologue, everything that I need, or
yeah, every time I look around, I'm reminded I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be.
and that's where those signs come from. Like, I feel like everything that I need is at arm's reach. So even if I need
Yes, sir.
encouragement, I could just look around and be like, boom.
Come on.
That's all I needed to see.
Those are God's ways of keeping you on the path, right?
Yeah.
Like he knows that, yeah, Beans is down right now. Beans
Yeah.
is feeling discouraged. Let me make sure he sees that sign on the wall
Mhm.
to keep him going. Cause sometimes it is that really does keep you going. Man, I met you when you were doing this play called Transparency the Play. And it was in LA. What was the inspiration behind telling that story?
Yeah, so transparency was actually a driving force that got me to LA.
Okay.
So in about 2016, 2017, when I was exiting a relationship or just, dealing with stuff as we do, I realized like, wow, like we never even really knew each other.
Mm,
Like we just introduced strangers and kind of like built off of that. So I
facts.
just was like, I imagine what life could have been like when people first meet each other if they were transparent on that first interaction. Then my
Gotcha.
mind went to, damn, I wonder what that would look like, love at first sight, or someone who's not over their ex, or someone who's experienced domestic violence or parent issues. Like my mind started to bounce around, so I started to write different monologues. And there's been many times in my life where I thought of something, didn't act on it, and I saw someone else do. Ooh. That happened too many times in my life. So I was like, nah, this feels too good for you not to water it. So I was telling my friends, telling my peers, watering it. And eventually when I came to LA in 2018, I was trying to get my feet on the ground. But once they somewhat got on the ground, that's when I started shooting season 1 in like the apartment, in the living room apartment in my South Central crib. Gotcha. And then from online series, after 3 seasons of that, that's when I was like, people gotta see this live. Love and it. After that, I'm like, if it's just monologues, that feels more like a spoken word event. What if I had dialogue and live music, all the things that I like? That's how the play was birthed. It's not like I have a theater background, anything like that. I just kept watering these seeds that God put inside of me.
Got you. I love it, bro. And I love what you said too. Like, there's plenty of ideas that we have, but yeah, if you sit on them, you'll look up and somebody else is doing that thing, right? So like, you can't take for granted those gifts and those ideas that God has planted in you. You got to water it and go for it and do it, because you never know how far that could take you.
Yeah.
You said that you don't really have a theater background per se, but you ended up writing a play. So are there any like playwrights or writers, stuff that you look to for kind of inspiration for making that shift, or you kind of just did it?
I just did it. And so there's a famous playwright called August Wilson, named
Yes,
August
sir.
Wilson. So after the first time I did the play, someone came up to me on stage and was like, wow, you remind me of a young August Wilson. And I didn't know who it was.
Nice.
I'm like, who's? And they looked at me like I had 3 heads. This was after the first play.
Yeah, because they would think that a young Black man who was a playwright would,
and I'm like,
would know one of the biggest Black playwrights,
right, ever. And they're like, you should look into him.
So you should, get that education.
So I started. I read all his plays at this point, and
nice.
I've learned more about like character development and storytelling in that regard and things like that. But it was just something that I just decided. I feel like a lot of my life, we wait for validation, or at least being Hollywood. We wait for Hollywood to greenlight us. But something I tell my cast and everything like that, I'm like, God already greenlit me. I'm not gonna wait for anyone to kind of tell me when I can and can't do something. That's what made me fall in love with the theater space, like people seeing things live, feeling those emotions live. And now that I'm in it, I'm like, yeah, I'm so locked in. The sports fan in me, the former athlete in me, I treat it like sports. Like, I know my pen, and I know how to cast, and I have talented friends. Like, again, everything I need is in arm's reach. People are indifferent about nepotism. I rock with nepotism because I'm like, I have talented friends. Why am I going to overextend myself?
Come on now.
And we're all supporting each other. So like within that, bro, I just take it one day at a time.
Yes, sir. Beautiful stuff, bro. And the Adam Sandlers of the world, the Tyler Perrys of the world, they do the same thing, right? Like you watch their movies, it's the same people.
Same folks.
It's the same people, and nobody bats an eye when they do it. So we gonna do that same thing too. Hey, we want to take a brief pause from the conversation to talk about the sponsor of today's episode, which is us, A to B. Are you looking to create content, but you don't even know where to begin with the gear? Or maybe you started to create content, but you're trying to up the quality a little bit? Well, this offer is for you.
Stop stressing. We know y'all be stressing about what equipment you need to shoot content. Stop it.
Come on.
We're going to show up with all the equipment you need with the ability to shoot multiple pieces of content across multiple social platforms. This allows you to produce higher quality content, be more efficient,
what else?
And buy back your time.
There you go. Come on now. And we've done this for different people like business owners, entrepreneurs, and even ministries, and the results speak for themselves. So if you're trying to up the quality of your content, hit the link in the description so we can take you from A to B.
Let's go.
Back to the conversation. You said something beautiful about not waiting for somebody to give you the opportunity. And I think for me, I create short films. Like I do that every year and stuff for my birthday. And like the main ignition behind that is I got stories to tell, and I'm not gonna wait for somebody to write it for me, somebody to cast me in it. But I'm talented, I got talented friends. I wanna make the opportunity for myself and do it.
Yeah.
So I love that you're doing the same thing. But as a fellow creator, I know that there are certain challenges that come with that, right? Like there is
On the
definitely
daily.
big challenges of making something your own, putting your own money up or whatever. So what do you think was the biggest challenge of putting on a play?
The biggest challenge for me was deciding. That was the first challenge. And then
Mm,
when it came to finances, I was a little nervous at first, but I was able to raise like $5,000 in like 2 days or 3 days.
nice.
Just posted on the ground, crowdfunded. So that was that. I guess not having understudies, like that
Okay.
that was
Relying on the same people, mostly.
I mean, the very first play, it was in 2021 where, theaters and things were just opening because the pandemic just ended.
Good, good.
So some people like last minute caught that C word like the
Sheesh.
day before or to communicate. So me not
Yeah,
having understudies, I wasn't ready to easily be able to put somebody in there. So now I'm
got you.
scrambling to find people, and it still worked out.
Hmm.
But that was a big challenge for me. And I guess a larger challenge to that now that I think about it is imposter syndrome, right?
It's real.
Like yo, who not feeling like I'm deserving or like feeling like I really know what I'm doing and I'm just like,
Hmm.
is it really working? Is the impact really working? And then when
Wow.
you receive the flowers and the feedback afterwards, you're like, yo, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yes, sir.
So for me, maybe it was like that imposter syndrome, like you're not doing enough.
And I feel like it's beautiful when you do hear those words, right? Like at the end of it, when the crowd does
Yeah,
applause and people come up to you like, "Hey, you remind me," even if you
yeah,
don't know who they are,
right.
they you remind me of a young August Wilson,
Even
you
a
know.
girl said, a French girl was like, about you got je ne sais quoi. I'm like,
You got a little je ne sais
I'm like,
quoi,
what's that?
huh?
Again, I kept saying when people saying these words to me, I'm like, I don't know what that
Yeah.
is. I had to like Google it. Like, why? I'm not. Why I asked her, bro, like, what does that mean? And everybody
Nah.
looking at me again, like, I'm like,
You
yo,
should know what that means.
But that's what I'm telling you. Like, I never act like I'm not who I am.
Yeah.
I never act like I know something when I don't. I never like shapeshift when I go into rooms.
Hmm.
How I show up is unapologetically me every time.
I love
And
it.
I love asking questions, or I love like not. I know they say fake it till you make it or certain things like that, but if I have a question, I'm gonna ask,
Come on now,
and I'm gonna know
because
it next time.
yeah, yeah,
You know what I
right.
mean?
Yeah,
So it's
why
just
why would I
like,
be ignorant?
yeah, bro, that's just how I move.
Yes, sir. I love that. One thing that you said in the making of it is you did crowdfunding, right? Which is getting money from other people. Me personally, I've seen like other filmmakers and stuff do it, but sometimes I get in my own way in the sense of, you know, being prideful, right? Being proud of like, oh, I don't want people to think that I need resources, I need money, I got it. Did it take a certain level of humility for you to go ahead and do that?
Uh, yes and no. And I say that because that rabbit hole, the jelly beans I was telling you about before, like I had already been extremely vulnerable on the gram as far as like some of my situations, but also it was like I made everybody a part of it. Like I gave them an inside scoop of, yo, I'm thinking about doing a play. If I was to
Hmm.
do a play, who would come out? Boom. This is how much I think I need. I don't even know if I need this much or need more, but I think I
Yeah.
need this. And if you rock with me, you support me, then here's what it's going to be.
Gotcha.
Listening to friends who've crowdfunded before, got a lot of that. So as far as the humility, I feel like it wasn't like strangers I was asking from. It was people who who've been already supporting me. And it's like, if you want to help me take this to the next level and give me another boost of confidence, here's an
Hmm.
opportunity. But it's going to go regardless.
Right.
If I gotta sell freaking fish plates or do
Yeah, yeah,
fish
yeah.
fries, call, I don't know. But like,
Yes,
if y'all
sir.
rock with me, here's an opportunity to support. So I just had to get out my own way.
Yes, sir. I love it. And I definitely got to take a page out of your book with that, man, to get out my own way. Cause you never know who's going to be out there that wants
Right.
to lend a
That
helping
wants to
hand.
support you.
Yeah. Who actually believes in what you got going on. And shoot, they could give you 1,000, 10,000 or whatever,
Yeah.
but you never know until you put that out there. Um, like I said, I write short films, right? In the sense of like my max has been like 20, 25 minutes. But you wrote a full length play, and that's what I'm pretty much like scared of doing, right? Because a play, it's just all words. Like it's all just like dialogue. It's all
Yeah.
words. Me with the film, I could have a scene where they just walk across the camera and the music is playing, you know. But like sometimes
montage.
yeah, yeah, exactly. But for a play, you gotta have that pen going. Where do you find the inspiration to keep that pen flowing?
Bro. So I was introduced to storytelling, or at least my imagination in first grade. The teacher had storytellers come in.
Yeah.
Pardon me.
Yeah, good, bro.
Where we had to like close our eyes, say crisscross applesauce. They walked us through this journey. They had the rain sticks, things like that, took us to the safari.
Yeah.
So I feel like since a kid, I've always been telling stories. And I'm a fan of battle rap. I'm a fan of like spoken word.
Gotcha.
I'm a fan of all of that. So when it came to like writing a play, it was just like, yo, tell the stories. You know how to tell the stories. Don't try to fit into anybody else's box and just make it yours. Because again, like sometimes we compare what we doing to like what other people are doing and say, if mine isn't at that standard, it's not great. And that's not the truth.
Yes, sir.
You can fail yourself forward and learn along the way. The actors would tell you the first couple of plays, how I sent them their script. I wrote the play in a notepad on my phone.
On the notes like I got right here?
Yes.
Like
I wrote the whole play in the notepad on my phone, and I
Mm-hmm.
was casting people to a play before the play was written.
That's hilarious.
The
So,
play
like,
wasn't even written when I was
so
casting people.
no script, just idea. Like I got this thing. Like
I maybe had a couple monologues, so I'm just kind of like, yo, I would love for you to be in my play. Okay, cool. I will cast them for it. They said, when you gonna send the script? I'll send it in 2 days. I'll write it, send it to them.
Wow. But that goes to say you got people that's rocking with you though too. Like people that believe in the vision.
But these were strangers at the time.
Oh.
These were strangers
Okay,
at the
alright.
time.
Yeah.
I decided, let me tell you how tight this turnaround was. I told people that I was having a play at the end of October of 2021.
Uh-huh.
The play was December 5th of 2021. So I had those 5 or 6 weeks to not only just like crowd fund or whatever,
Yeah.
to cast the play, write the monologues, write the dialogues, find the saxophonists and all of that before December 4th, 5th. I did it all in that window.
That's crazy.
And this is a reflection of that. Now, of course, I have like final draft, different things like that, so I can type it on there.
Come on, he's a professional now.
But
Y'all. He not sending scripts on notes no more. You know.
I'm just telling you, like the hardest part sometimes is just deciding and affirming yourself. Like I am who I say I am.
Ooh.
And I'm a genius. I'm brilliant. I know the world just has to catch up to me. I just got to keep going, failing myself forward. I'm going to get better with progression and increments, even if it's 1% better every day. Like this is a reflection of the conversation I have with myself. So it's like coming in with that, it's like, it's nothing you can tell me that's going to make me not already believe who I am.
Come on. Yes, sir.
I don't care who went to school for this. Some of my boys didn't play. MFAs, Master of Fine Art, Mom, you know, all of that. And they're like, yo, I've never written a play. So to see my friend do it and decide, and it's at this magnitude, it's a testament as far as like, you just have to push the button.
You got to. And you said the hardest part, but I also think the most important part is deciding, right? And to do it. And I think that's what separates the follow through, bro. I think that's what separates me from other people. I think that's what separates you from other people is that I never stop at the idea. Like, because, you know, ideas don't make you special, right?
It does. People have ideas all day, every day.
You know how many people come to me with like, oh, Ben, you should blah, 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 you should do this.
$1 trillion ideas.
$1 trillion ideas. Okay, show me when you actually do it. Like, and I remember my friend actually telling me about that. He was like, man, I look up to you in a sense because, yeah, even just me having a podcast, bro, was not just something I had an idea of with my friend.
Yeah.
But I'm like, all right, November the 2nd, you down? Like, let's shoot the thing, you know? And I think a lot of us get held up in the you know, yeah, you didn't have final draft, right? Some people are like, oh, well, I don't have final draft yet. I don't have a venue. Like, I can't write it, you know? Like, they wait for everything to be perfect, but it's like, nah, you just gotta go, and then you gonna figure out the rest of the stuff as you keep going on it, bro. So I love that you have that willpower about you. One thing we kind of talked about a little bit, I'd love to talk about that, is the casting process. When I saw the show, is definitely everybody was great. There were no short ends of the stick. All the actors were amazing. And of course, when you see certain things, like there are people that are standouts. The one guy, he was a standout. He had his monologue was on I think he was coming out to his father
Yeah.
at the dinner table.
yeah.
He was a great actor. But another one was great was Jen.
Yeah.
Jen, her
Thank God.
monologue was on. Thank God, yeah.
And Jen has been in every play.
That's crazy and that's dope. But watching her monologue, bro, it's like I almost thought to myself, I'm like, she wrote that in the sense of like it was just so comfortable. It just seemed like that was just like her.
Right.
But that's just like good acting in a sense.
Yeah.
So what went into the casting process of making sure that the right actor had the right part?
Well, I'm going to speak about Jen.
Yeah.
I'm going to speak about Jen first. So a lot of times at the beginning part of like writing some of these monologues, I would think of some of my friends and like, yo, if I was to write a monologue about them, what would it be about? So sometimes it took me interviewing them.
Gotcha.
So one of my friends, as a taller woman who's like 6'3", I'm like, how's your dating experience been as a tall woman?
Yeah.
She would tell me all that. I'll polish it up, put my creative spin on it, and then boom, now we have a monologue. So it was similar to Jen's too. Like that monologue was birthed off of a quick conversation we had, maybe a 3-minute conversation, and I just, blew it up.
Yes, sir.
So that's how that worked. But everything else, whether you my friend or not, I just gotta be able to like see it and know what the intention of the monologue is, and if you're able to deliver it. Now, sometimes if I know certain things that my friends are going through, I'll ask them if they have the capacity to do certain monologues.
Right.
But they're malleable. Like they can be in any of them because that's just how talented they are. So that's kind of like how it worked. But yeah, I wrote. A lot of people don't even think there's like everybody wrote their own monologue. No, I wrote every monologue.
Yeah.
Like, yes,
no, I love
wrote
it.
Every monologue.
I'm just saying because you see, but now it makes sense with talking to you. But like watching Jen's monologue, I'm like it's so good, and because I've only met Jen once, but I mean I know that she's a woman of faith, woman of God. So like it made sense for that to be her monologue.
Yeah.
But I'm saying like the way she portrayed it and everything, it was so good to where you felt like she wrote it. You know what I'm saying?
And that's them. That's their talent, and I'm just happy we're able to collaborate to make magic happen.
Yes, sir. And y'all definitely did make some magic. Look, bro, I remember that one friend of mine, he talked to me about art, and he was saying art is always going to either provoke thought or it's going to make somebody ask questions.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't do those two things, then was it really art to begin with?
Right.
And coming to your show, you guys actually opened up for a Q&A after, and people in the audience were asking questions about the art that you brought. How does that make you feel that you are creating something that people have questions about?
Alignment. That's the best way that I can put it. My intention behind it was to be able, because I know, I'm not going to say I'm trying to heal the world or I'm like that type of guy. Not even that, just to give people the opportunity to look within themselves, to be able to identify what's going on. Now, they can be at that crossroad whether they decide to improve on a certain area or let it continue to fester. People grow. But me knowing, how I like to receive things, I like to be kind of caught off guard, like, oh, wow, I like that. So that's also what I create. It's kind of like trying to feed a baby. You can't always just go like, eat this. Create a rocket ship or a train or whatever. So I do that with my storytelling. I do that with my content. I walk people into the punch.
Nice.
A lot of people didn't know what they were walking into. Oh, Transparency to Play. I heard it was dope. Let me go check it out. But at the end, kind of like, it's like, gotcha.
Nah, facts.
So I knew the talk back at the end is always the same way. I didn't know what I was walking into, but now I want to have a conversation with my dad when I drive home, or me and my partner have to have a conversation, or now I want to talk to that friend who I've been letting them kind of continue with that destructive relationship. Maybe I need to be more transparent with them as far as walking away. That's the intent.
Yes, sir. It's beautiful stuff, bro. Look, anybody who knows you or has followed you for a while, they know the phrase "be intentional."
Absolutely.
And I see it. It's on your hat. I see it. It's on your jacket right now. You got the merch to match with it. So from you, what does being intentional mean to you?
To me, being intentional means adding deliberate focus to the things that I want to do and not just moving waywardly. My brand has served as an accountability partner because when I first created it, I moved out here and I already had Chef Beanz in intentional consumption, because most people don't know. I'm not your traditional chef. I help people be intentional, not only what they physically consume, but the content they consume, the conversations they have, and the energy that they ingest. So when it was just that and I was posting random videos on Snapchat or Instagram, I got invited to a Rock the T event. They were like, do you have any powerful statement t-shirts? I'm like, yeah, I got a bunch. Didn't have any. So like, you got intentional consumption, why not be intentional? So I got that shirt made and I got so much positive feedback at the event. I'm like, I should start making these.
Nice.
So I started making them. They just started off as shirts and it eventually expanded. But again, I'm like, I can't have a brand that says be intentional if I'm not intentional. So it kind of made me, again, be methodical with what I chose to post and how I responded to people, because it then became my accountability partner.
Yes, sir. I love that, bro. It's dope stuff. One thing that you said that you got to be intentional about is the content that you consume.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and that goes for just the simple content that we watch on our phones, but
Yeah.
also the books that we read and what we watch. Do you find yourself being intentional about the books that you read and the podcasts that you watch to kind of fuel you as you go?
Absolutely. So that's kind of where, before be intentional, that's where intentional consumption came from. I don't know if it was like 2015, 2016, when people started posting like police brutality on social media, like police taking the hands of certain people in our community, or different communities. And I remember watching a video, I don't remember who it was, but after watching it, like my spirit was in the basement. I'm like, that didn't make me feel good after seeing that. So my mind went to, what if you created content that did the reverse effect of how you feel? What if you start putting out things that after people go to your page or this arena that you're creating, that you lifted their spirit? And at the time, I already had the nickname as Chef Beanz. I'm like, but you're not your traditional chef, so you need like a catchphrase. What's something that's like, can kind of work for both? Okay, consumption, people consume physical thing, boom, but not just consumption, intentional consumption.
Yes, sir. Being intentional about the things that you consume. But I love that though too, man. Like being the person that is the light, right? Being that when they see you, they're gonna smile. When they see you, they remember that they feel good. So of course they're gonna always tune in. When they see your face coming up, they're gonna tune into that. You know?
Boom, Chef Beanz. Oh yeah, let me check this out.
Let me check that out. Oh, you doing another play? I'm definitely pulling up, right? So I think that if we want to create things for the world to see, we should always kind of have that mindset of being on that positive side of it. Look, man, the title of your play is Transparency, and again, it was all about dating and being transparent. So of course, as the guy who created the thing, I gotta ask you, what does transparency mean to you?
Transparency to me is just a raw conversation with yourself. Like, to be transparent with others, I feel like you gotta be transparent with yourself. So transparency is being able to shine light on those things that you may have been ignoring. For me, particularly, I remember I started to be very transparent when I realized I didn't have the greatest relationship with my parents.
Okay.
So I'm like, in order for me to be the man that I want to be, or really like grow and expound, I should probably start having like more transparent conversations, or really like water these relationships if you truly care about them. And I do and did care about them. So it started there with me. With some other people, it may start maybe with their spouse. I don't know, maybe with their coworkers at work. I don't know. But to me, it's like identifying something within yourself that you probably didn't know was there and figuring out what you want to do with it. Either water it, or again, like I said earlier, some people are able to identify self-sabotaging behavior or friend groups that aren't important into them, or relationships or different things like that. And even though they've acknowledged it, it's kind of like, well, it is what it is.
Right, yeah.
That same crossroad, you could be like, something has to be said.
Got you. That's real, bro. And yeah, I love what you said. You gotta, sometimes in order to be transparent with others, you gotta first be transparent with yourself. And I think before you start to add people to your life, before you get partners, before you start dating and whatnot, you gotta know who you are first, right? And then you can add more people to that. Look, as we come to a close here, bro, the conversation has been dope. But the title of this show is Hitting Your Mark.
Yeah.
Right. And again, throughout this whole thing, we've talked about alignment, right? And being on your path and being on your journey. And everybody has different ones, right? Everybody has different marks that they want to hit. But for you, Chef Beanz, what does hitting your mark look like?
Hitting my mark for me, the ceiling keeps getting higher. Hitting my mark is, I guess in the grand scheme of things, my intention was to create a vision and an aesthetic of young people in the inner city to know, especially Camden, New Jersey, to know like there's different paths regardless to whatever your life's or family's trajectory has been. You can rise above whatever adverse situations that you are going through or experiencing or may experience. So me hitting my mark is continue to create opportunities for others while also monetizing my creativity and being the best version of myself.
Come on, I love that. And you're going to do all those things, bro. Again, like you said, always finding those new ceilings because those things are the ceiling for you right now is going to be the floor of your future. So yeah, love it, bro. Before we wrap up out of here, tell the people how could they connect with you and support what you got going on.
So y'all can connect with me, Chef Beanz, Chef _BEANZ, chefbeanz.com. I'm available to collab or sell merch, keynote speeches, a bunch of things, whatever. Like I'm always on the move, but never hard to find.
Always on the move, but never hard to find. Come on now. Well, I'm glad that you wasn't hard to find. You was able to pull up today for this conversation, bro. Appreciate you for it, my guy. It was a dope combo. I was inspired by it, and I hope that you were inspired too. And if you were, feel free to like this video and throw a comment down in the comment section. You know, Beanz dropped a lot of gems on us, so drop one of those gems in the comment. He's the gem dropper. Drop it in the comment section for me. Really appreciate it. And also feel free to subscribe to the channel so you can stay connected with us and see future episodes that we have coming up. Thanks so much to Chef Beanz for being on the platform. We'll catch you on the next one.
Peace.